I wasn't bothered about really losing the money. I was like, I need to get to that point that if I mention the amount, the client won't mind spending it. So that's what I used to motivate myself mostly, as in, I mean, but at a point, you get to a point in which some clients don't just want to pay. That one, you just ignore this flow.
Running a business could be difficult. On this channel, we share the journey through the good days and the bad days. How to grow your business, how to manage your clients, and how to give the best customer experience are some of the topics that we talk about. If you like this type of content, hit the subscribe button and let's jump right into this video.
Hi guys, so this is Stanley once again from Visual Render, and this is going to be the maiden edition of speaking with a specialist or speaking with somebody that has specialized in something. And today's guest is somebody from Nigeria. Yeah, he's an agvis specialist. Me, I'll call him agvis specialist because like what he does, me, I'm trying to learn it. And the first time I heard about him, I learned that he spent most of his time sitting behind his PC, working 24/7. Like he barely took breaks, and I'm like, damn, that's a little bit too extreme. But now that I've met him, I've asked him about it. He's actually telling me that's what he did. And like, it's just amazing. So, without much to say, let me bring on.
Hello, hi. My name is Okolie Uchechukwu. I'm an architect, 3D artist, and a programmer. What else should I going to say?
Tell us everything. Tell us who you are.
well. What am I first? I'm an architect, and it began from School of Architecture. So from there, trying to present a design, having to do 3 days. Initially began with tracing paper, but later we found out that in the real world, you can't actually present your work on paper. So you have to really learn the software. Those in school, you really need to learn the software.
Please, don't start telling them
so please tell your lecturers that sir, the paper doesn't work outside school. Okay, so doing IT with that's when I learned the lesson that my piece of paper doesn't really work outside school. So after IT, I really put in my effort into the softwares, and from there, so that's how I went into ArcBase, still did part of architecture, full architecture, and at a point I found out that I could earn more staying at home doing ArcBase, staying in front of my PC 24/7 and still earn more than staying in an office. Staying in an office, experiencing the full meaning of architecture.
Yeah.
Architecture, exactly. As in, it can be stressful if you're doing 9 to 5, especially in Lagos when you go through traffic and you have to wake up very early. I'll wake up so early by 4, leave house by 4:45 a.m. and get home by 11 p.m. And I still have to wake up around 3 the next day.
What? You spend half your life.
So it was just mainly because of that kind of lifestyle. I knew that I could not continue this way, so I put in all my effort into ArcBase, and just after 3 months of doing it, I just quit and just stayed at home. So my 9 to 5 after school lasted 3 months. Ever since then, I've been at home working.
So when you did professional work, 9 to 5 job for 3 months, and you ran away.
And I ran away. So, well, but I'm different. It does not mean she can't learn. You should do exactly what I'm doing, though, because some people have tried it and have failed, and I've really felt bad about the whole thing. So I'm like, you should choose what works for you. The reason why I stopped mostly was because the amount I was being paid in the 9 to 5, I could earn it from the ArcBase, and while still working the 9 to 5. So there's assumption was like, if I stop the 9 to 5 and I put in more effort, if I'm still earning the same amount, I can put in more effort to get really good, which means my value increases, which means I can charge more in ag base. So that's what I did. So it made sense logically, and also it made sense logically. I did not have hope. It wasn't based on faith, kind of logically it made sense. Don't some people just do make decisions. It's good to have faith. I'm not against it, but you have to have sense. You have to have sense also. Please
I
forgive
see.
me, but you have to have sense also. Yeah.
So now that we understand what you do and who you are, you've told us a little bit about how you found yourself in that space,
That's it,
which is because like
yeah.
the pay and the expectation is not matching.
Yeah.
When you get hired for a job, honestly, it's a job. Now, in that job, the expectation is this high, but the pay is this low. So for me, most times there's a major conflict, like especially when you are an employer and you expect your employee come in early at this time and do this from this time to this time, and now you're giving the employee more tasks to do and you are not giving them anything in return. People are killing themselves here. And so like in these recent times, you have people who tell you, yo, I just want to work from home. I don't want anything complicated. Just let me sit behind my machine. I'll do the work for you from here and not have to like come into the office because like you said, you wake up early at 4:45 a.m.
No, that's 4:45 is when I leave the house.
So wait, you wake up earlier than the 4?
because of the distance and the traffic, and it's not about waking up so early. You leave the house that early, but you still get office around 8 a.m. So which means you spend like 3 hours on the road with noise and traffic.
Travel time 3 hours. By the time you get to the office, you are stressed.
You're stressed and tired.
Wow.
So, and then because it was my laptop. It wasn't office laptop, and I'll leave the house that early. And all the risk was on me. On me.
If anything happens,
the office won't give me money for my laptop, but as in it just did not make sense. Like I said, some people would want to make decisions based on this is what is meant to be, this is what to be. Just you should have to understand the way the world works, as in your value is based on what people are willing to pay you. You should not kind of overprice yourself. If you go to different offices and this is what they're willing to pay you have to understand that is what you're valued in the market. And don't just assume that because this person is paying this, or maybe this person is abroad is paying this. If you've got multiple offices and this is what you're valued, you have to understand that's what you're valued. I am not saying that some people might feel they're being undervalued, but you have to understand the market.
But to add to that, I would say that if you are indisposable in an office, that is when you can now command a certain price.
Exactly.
If you don't add value to yourself, wait, I hired you in 2010 and in 2012, it's the same thing that you knew when I hired you in 2010 that you still know in 2012. You expect me to increase your pay. I won't do it. The only increase you get is that regular, I think is it 15% increase every year? That's all you will get. That's all. And most of the time, even sometimes the employers don't even do that percentage increase.
Yeah, exactly. But the main aim is usually because you have to understand every year there are couples, there are new graduates. So if someone comes next year and can do the exact thing you can do, then why will I pay you extra when I can get a new person? So it's based on your value. Like the other reason why I stopped was like some people might have been earning more than me, but I'm like, for the next 5 years they'll be earning the same thing because they're still doing the same process, same thing. So they are not improving. So I'm like, I stay home and my value increases. In next 5 years I'll be earning more than you, and I'll keep going because my value has increased. And if I come and work in your same office, I would charge far
More
more
than
than you're earning. So it was kind of a risk.
for you. Well,
Yeah,
high
for me,
risk.
yeah, high risk.
Very high. But wait, we all know that when risk is involved, like whoever is taking the risk is going to take more profit. So hey, it's business. It's business.
Yeah, it's business. It's business.
So
It's business.
what has been some of your worst moments? We all say the stories where like, yeah, I quit my 9 to 5 and boom, I started working on my own and it's amazing, and nobody comes out on camera to tell us these times are terrible. So what have been some of your worst moments that you've ever had?
Well, I guess the moments was when I quit my job and stayed at home because well, luckily I am not used to overspending, so I always stay below my limit. So it's not as if I got so broke, and luckily I was staying with my parents, and so it helped to buffer the effects, and which meant I could focus mainly on the job and learning and getting better. So I'm like, everything was a learning process, understanding the way clients work, and I guess the only thing that came to mind recent about the mistake I made was when I overcharged someone. It was based on because of my friend was saying charging this. I'm like, if I was a bit calmer and I charged the person fairly based on the based on what or based on the market value, I would have gotten that job early in my life, and maybe things might have changed. But my friend was pushing me, charges, and I listened, and I lost that opportunity. So from that, I blocked the friend out. The friend won't be said on camera, but I blocked the friend out based on the result. So from there, I was trying to understand. I tried to understand what other people charge and what I charge. So with that, so yeah. So with that, I the first thing, the important thing is to get into the market and start, and then if your value increases, you can gradually increase your fees, and if the client feels that you're that important, then you will keep on paying. So the way I do mine is, let's say this on camera. Okay, fine. Who cares? Okay, so the way I do mine is that to ensure that I don't get burnt out. If the demand increases so much, the price increase. So that's always keeps me that I have time to, if I'm not working, I'm either learning. So the idea was, if you can't afford this, I have things to learn to get better, so that next time you need my service and see what I can do, you will see that it is worth the amount. So that's how I always did it. That I don't care. I really don't mind if a client can't afford it. I'm like, don't worry, I'll get so good that next time I mention the amount, you won't mind spending it. So each time a client usually told me no in the past, I was like, maybe I'm not good enough. Isn't it? So I wasn't bothered about really losing the money. I was like, I need to get to that point that if I mention the amount, the client won't mind spending it. So that's what I used to motivate myself mostly, as in, but at a point you get to a point in which some clients don't just want to pay. Now they just ignore this.
Just ignore them. So if I'm getting you right, there's a whole psychology where there's the buyer's resistance, and the reason the buyer would resist is mainly because he feels what he's buying is not worth the amount of money that is on it, or the price tag that is on it. So most of the time people would go buy a Lamborghini for X amount of money, and the same set of people will come probably to request for your service, and would not want to pay X amount of money.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. Lamborghini has a name, they have a brand established. Point blank, that's cool. But for whatever service it is that they are acquiring, most of the time they are really trying to check, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Or it's not worth it. If it's not worth it, they will not want to pay. But if you call it out and they need it, and they see that, oh no, this guy is the perfect fit for this work, they usually don't argue at that point. They just say, okay, let's do this. When are we starting? Let's move on. So now the question, the worst moment, that means that because you lost that client, I'm sure. So you overpriced yourself and you lost that client at that moment. But how did that make you feel? Did you feel betrayed by your friend? Did you feel like you should have taken this decision on your own without having to involve your friend or anybody?
Okay. That on that, that same client also had a part two some years later.
Oh, okay.
So they actually went on in the building, yeah.
Okay.
Some years later, it looked different than the idea we were going to do. So with that, it just helped me calm myself down.
Oh, okay.
You know, as when usually when you're young and you get good in something, and some people start swelling your head, you feel that this is so. I just help the effect just helped me calm down and say, Uche, don't overprice yourself. You're not as good as you think you are.
You are.
The market doesn't think that you're that good. So it just calmed me down, and then I began to be a bit more relaxed and try to understand the way the market works. So the part two of the story is that I think it was about 2 years ago that the same client wanted to do a modification on the project, same
design.
project.
Wow.
And then the fees that was now based was logical and reasonable. Still did not pay. So
why didn't you want to pay?
I guess I don't know whatever. So
at that moment, do you feel like the first time you lost him, or he just didn't want to pay?
No. As in, I just learned from the process that I thought it was overpriced, and I feel maybe they just wanted cheap labor then. That's why they came to a very young student.
Yeah, most of the time when people come to young people, they expect it to be cheap because you're young, you're out of school.
Yeah. So I just felt after the whole thing, they still wanted cheap labor. If after they had gotten that far, they still wanted another architect to work on it. So
honestly, I feel if you are looking for cheap labor, and no, the thing is, if you are looking for good work and you are looking for cheap labor, it doesn't match. When you go to the market and you see this pair of sneakers is $20 and you see another one is $100, instantly your mind will tell you that the value is not the same. The value cannot be the same. So sometimes, yes, check the value of the work. If you know, you like, some things are so clear, you know that the value of the work is good. So then why do you want to underprice it, or why do you want to underpay for that service? You don't do that thing, especially when it's in business and people start doing things like that. It's a waste of time. When you spot clients who buy based on price, the easier or the faster you run away from them, the happier you are, because see, they will continue to buy based on price. They would always tell you, oh, can't it be done for cheaper? Can't it be done for cheaper? If you want good work, you pay the good price for the good work. It's as simple as that. You won't go outside the country and be telling them,
Well, I guess that now, since we are kind of also into real estate, and the main thing behind real estate is trying to sell. So I guess if your presentation tells the client that if you do this, they will sell more. So that's when you become a bit more valuable to them. So that the important thing is increasing your value. Don't just assume that you, as in, the way you know your value. Like when I did apps, it's like you take it and take it to different people. That's as in clients are supposed to pay for this service and see
Mm-hmm.
how how they react to it.
Oh, okay.
How they
So,
react to it, yeah. Because you kind of you can't just assume that because Dubai, UK or US does things that is meant to work
mm,
in your own environment. You have to take what you have, present it to those within your environment, and check. As in those that are not willing to dupe you or defraud you, just those that you trust that are willing to have open con talks with you on, like that's how my app developed. As in the updates, the initial one I did was a bit complex. It had a lot of functions, and I went to an MD in a real estate firm. I was like, man, your app has so many buttons. It's nice, but the people that are going to use it are old men, and they really don't have time to be person. They like, and they're usually busy. They have like 30 seconds to talk to you. So you need something simple and something that you can explain to someone that can understand it within 30 seconds. That if you can explain it to someone within 30 seconds to use, then
mm,
the app has lost its value. So that's what changed, because the initial Aki apps you see, they have so many value, so many functions, change materials, move furniture, do all those things. But people that are going to buy this apartment don't have time to do all those things.
you know this.
It's fancy, it's functional, it's fine and everything, but I you have to understand, is the business a hobby or is the business there to make money? So are you trying to make money, or you're trying to have fun, or to be happy with your life? There are
I see.
there are broke artists and there are rich artists. So you have to decide which one. They understand what broke means. I've been broke is the same thing. You mean to say to them?
No, so yeah, I think I do
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
you have to test. It's more like testing what you've created
Created, yeah,
in the markets and
yeah,
seeing what happens, like when you release, oh,
yeah.
you do this, how would the market receive it? Are they going to be welcoming, like would they welcome it and be like, oh, this is, and
Yeah,
then even in doing that you then get to see like some of the things you did not consider when you were doing all of those developments.
yeah, yeah,
So it's usually good when you bring out something or when you develop something,
yeah.
you bring it out to the market. It's not like expose it to the full market. No, you select a couple of people who you know would give you some good criticism or who are already in the space, who would use that development that you've done, and then show it to them and be like, oh, what do you think about this? How would you receive this? How do you think your end clients would also receive this? And
Yeah.
for even real estate developers and all that, I do think that there's still a lot that can be done for them,
Yeah.
both in fact, I'll dare to say Africa. Like, there's still a whole lot that can be done. Like outside, when I say outside, I mean Europe, those countries, US,
Yeah.
a lot is done. Like, people get to do tours of their home before they even like purchase, and that's amazing if you ask me. And recently, I've been trying to develop a couple of things, but it's not easy.
Well, it's not easy.
So
It's not
wait,
easy.
that is not easy. What has been a learning curve for you? Because for me, it's been like this.
well, well, I guess for me, I'm a bit lucky because initially in secondary school, I guess that's college, yeah. As in before I got into university, I wanted to study that's electrical engineering,
Mm.
stroke electronic or architecture. My mom took me to University of Lagos to both departments. So that is when I chose architecture. So naturally, I like physics, maths, and all the subjects.
Hey, naturally, you only
So
naturally like maths.
so structures wasn't an issue,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
structures is nice.
and design kind of wasn't an issue. So I was like, after school, good. I've done architecture. I have the nerd, the geek side, the mathematics. So I'm like, it, don't just depend on architecture. Work on that other side because it's difficult. People in my mostly in my class or in architect department generally don't really like structure. So which means they don't like calculations and everything.
Calculations
So I'm
and
like,
everything.
if I can combine both, I'll stand out in the population of Nigeria and everybody so overpopulated. So
Mm.
it's important you need to stand out. So I was like, I need to find 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 a way to make add programming to what I do. So that's how I began pushing to the app,
Programming
yeah, the
and app
programming stuff.
development side.
So I was
Mm.
really motivated. It wasn't easy, as in there was Unity and there was on
Unreal.
UE4 UE4. So Unity had the option. There were so many people that used it, but UE4 had better graphics, which was if I was going to use it for architecture, that's what I was. So
That's
the
what you
learning
use.
curve was a bit harder because there was really nobody to, sir, how can I do this? How can I do that? And even if when you go online, people they are still learning also. So it's just like so by the time I actually created my first app, I was like, wow, it's amazing that it's that nobody can create the same thing. It is not there. It is not there. As it, there's certain things I did in my app that like you won't go online, you won't see it just because it's like it's been hours of we try this back and forth. It's like the way you solve a physics question that you kind of don't know the equation you're supposed
Equation
to use,
yourself.
but your mind is supposed to run through like 5 equations within 30 seconds to do.
You're testing the equation.
So you're
Which
saying
one?
they can be this, it can be this, it can be this, it can be this. So it had so many of these stages
Mm.
in which because you could not go and ask someone, you have to try this, try this, and
Indirectly, his learning curve has been like this.
yeah. So the other thing I was like, man, I would love to give up, but I was like, if you want to make it, guy, yeah, you really have to do so. You get stuck, you sleep and come and try again. So it you get stuck, you sleep and come and try
Come and
again.
try
So
it
at
again.
the end of the day, I kept on trying, and the end of the day, I created an app. So that was nice. And the worst thing that happened is that when I now the app that I spent like 6 months or just you just stay at home and that's the only thing you within 6 months and 6 months and plus.
Then it crashed.
No, I now went to the real estate firms and said the man now told me, this is nice, but they don't need all this.
They don't need all the
They don't need that they don't need all this that it is nice you did it, but guy, okay, dude, they don't need all these things. I should make it as simple as possible. If I did that from the beginning, then, so optimization, yeah, as in, so
it is hard
yeah,
to
yeah,
optimize.
yeah. So that was just the learning curve.
But
So
at least you got to do the complicated parts.
yeah,
So now breaking it down, I won't lie to you. It's easier to do the complicated parts than to simplify it. If you see somebody that has simplified their process, trust me, you don't want to know what they've had to
I want to go to
do
do
to get to that point where you think or the person makes it look easy. You see that it says 6 months to develop. It can actually take you 6 months or more.
As in,
Because
some people do 6 months and they go and have fun and do stuff and come back. This is 6 months of just staying in the house. The only thing you do, wake up, go and eat and go back to work. Wake up, go and eat and go back to work. As in, your bed is beside you, your PC is just in front of you. So wake up, go and eat and go back to work. So I guess it is a bit difficult to make people go to that lifestyle nowadays. So I don't know. So it is not saying I really don't work with people, but the life the process is not as easy as people want to have fun. Fine, we would have our breaks and everything, but when it's time to work, it's time to work, unfortunately. And it's a continuous process, and it requires a lot of time at the end of the day. But for me, the process has gotten a bit faster and simpler. But to get to that mindset, I feel you need to understand that sometimes it won't be as easy as in, yeah, it's not as easy as you think it is. The finished product is nice, but the process of getting it done is something
It's a
else.
journey. It's a journey on its
Yeah,
own.
yeah, it's a journey on
I
its own.
see. I see. But what would you say has, if you knew when you started, both on the business side and then on the creative side? Because like me, everybody knows that I'm really into the business side. If it's not clicking in the business side, yo, put the creative side apart.
I thought about it.
Put the family side. I'm always on the family and friends side. Put those things as, take away the emotions from the
Emotions out
business.
of the business. Yeah.
Because when you start mixing it up, it's like
Yeah,
it will be this smashing mad. We don't want that. So
yeah,
put business aside, put friends and family aside,
yeah.
put the emotions aside, and then deal with everything one.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you would say that you wish you knew in the business side first?
Well, in the business side, really, I really don't feel I made mistakes, kind of, because I'm like, it is not as if I'm a chess player. I was a school champ in school, so I kind of think over scenarios, and if I decide to do something, I accept the
Consequences.
consequences. It's not as if I
Wow.
do and I will say I'm sorry. Uh, Learning process, life goes on. So it is like some people want to complain. Like there was A, there was B, and I chose B, and I know the consequences behind B. So I'm like, I chose B. It's not as if anybody forced me to choose
Move
B. You
on.
get on with your life. Yeah. So
Continue with your life.
yeah, so it is not as if you can go back. And luckily, I had a chess coach that was like, you play. You don't take your chess piece back. So you play, even if you made a mistake, you try to find a solution out of it.
Out of
So
it.
it's not as if you make that mistake and now start complaining about it. So
Don't dwell in your tears.
yeah, you just move on.
If you made that mistake, you made a mistake. Continue with your life.
Yeah,
Life goes on.
life goes on. And the important thing about business also is that your employer doesn't care about your what you're going through, kind of. What he wants is the work done. Your work is meant to be done by this time. Get the job done. So it is nice. It is cool to be emotional and everything. But if you're that emotional and you now tell your employer that this is the reason why you did not get the job done, he is likely not to come back to you the next time.
Yeah.
So the so you have to understand. You go through stuff, fine. Go through stuff, cry it out, but make sure you meet the deadline.
Yeah.
And that's just business. It's just business. It because the person that gives you the job might be really close to you, but if each time they give you a job, you start giving excuses, reasons on why you could not deliver at a certain time when the client needs the job, the client will go and find somebody else. There, it is just the way it is. So I'm like, if there's business, there's emotion. So if you know certain scenarios while you're working might affect the ability for 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 you to deliver on time. You are probably over 18. You have seen scenarios that have happened over. So at this age, nothing is a surprise. So I'm like, I did not know this. Nothing is surprise. It's you. To me, I feel it's you that chose to allow that stuff to happen, that now made the delay happen. It's like traffic. in the internet connection, like in Nigeria and Nepal, we know there's always no light. So telling your boss that there's no light, go and get a gen, go and get an inverter, so that you know that whenever there's no light,
you set up for business.
yeah, it
No
is a business, so
excuses.
no excuses. So it is only when on rare occasions, like this just happened once in 5 years, like for me, when the fuel stuff happened, that electricity has gone and there's no fuel, so there's no way you can work. So your client to clearly understand on that the nation was kind of at a halt because the grid collapsed and there was no fuel. So the client will understand that, but the client will understand when there's light, there's fuel, and there's an inverter. You now start giving them excuses like you are supposed to have a meeting. You were born in Lagos and you know there's traffic. Leave earlier and be there on time. It is just part of it. So I'm like, nothing is a surprise. It's you that chose to ignore the fact and feel that you can give that as an excuse. The client might say it's okay, it's fine, but next time he has a job, he will go to a person that he can trust, because time is money. Time is money, especially in real estate. Time is money.
So yeah, and then on the creative side, what do you wish you knew when you started?
When I started,
Mm-hmm.
I guess when I started, I began by working more on the design and then doing the renders,
Okay.
because I guess maybe it was needed because I needed to enter the market.
Okay.
That's how I got more jobs. But
Mm.
as now that I've been more into the business, I prefer to work on projects in which there's an architect on the project, in which the architect himself has gone through with the client and solved out a
All the
lot of all the
complexities. I see.
all those stuff, so that because design at this stage, the back and forth, if you're the 3D artist and you're the one doing the design,
The life is hard.
so I'll just advise, if on a project, you should push towards projects that have an architect on the project, so that the arc himself can talk with the client and they can solve the material finishes and all this
And
kind
all
of
that.
stuff. Because if those things are not done, the back and forth can just burn you out. Sometimes it's not worth it. And
Yeah.
it is not worth it. So it is not as if it's a learning phase. In the initial stages, I needed to design and render
Mm-hmm.
to get into the market. Now I am at a stage in which I can afford not to do projects
Do projects that don't come
come with that
way.
Yeah, always. So yeah, because time is money. The idea is you have to check your since we freelance,
Mm-hmm.
our income is not per month, it's per annum.
Yeah.
So we have to check that per annum we have to be done with a certain project, so that when the next one comes,
We are ready.
we don't tell the client to are busy. Like so far, jobs, I don't remember the last time I told the client I'm busy, because I always try to ensure I finish this one as fast as possible,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring that there's an architect, there's the formal process, so that things are done
In the right sequence.
and I get on to the next one. Because if some people want to be, I'm an architect, I need to be creative, and you need to be part of the design process, but you spend a year on the project on the same amount of money. On the same amount of money, but on that same project, the same amount of money in 2 weeks, 3 weeks are done. So who do you think is better? Who do you think is better, guy?
Oh my goodness.
Who do you think is better?
But yeah, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. But one way to solve not having being or going, not having things to put into the market is like doing portfolio projects, or I would call them love. What do I call them self projects, like projects that you love, passion projects. Yes, passion projects. You just take things that you know that you love and would work in the market, things that will put you out there, and do those projects and put them together as a portfolio. And then in doing that, you sort of take yourself as a client and detail out your process. Now, anybody who comes to you and asks you, how do you work? You are able to list out, oh yeah, so in this project, they don't have to know whether it's a live project or it's a passion project. When you name, in this project, this is how it went, and this is how I do my work. Nobody's coming to question you, oh, so why are you putting, anybody who questions you, give them a location. At the end of the day, it's not where the building is going to be that they are looking for. They want to see that you have the skill sets to do their work for them. It's as simple as that. There is no complication. Anybody coming to you wants to know that they are getting value. It's not hard, and it's not hard to also show that value. So do some passion projects. Make your portfolio nice. Put it together. Do a one-page portfolio online. Definitely, you have to get an online portfolio. Don't be doing PDFs at this point in time. Can't be sending people PDFs. Sometimes the people will not compress their PDFs, and they'll send you 50 megabytes PDF. For what reason? When there's PDF compressor.
It's like now when I go to offices for the first time and I have to show them what I do, they'll be like, Uche, you don't come with that. I said everything is online now. We'll just go online. I'll show you everything. Like I don't even carry laptops to offices anymore.
Just
size online.
Online.
We'll go there and I'll show you everything.
If you don't know how to do it, YouTube is there.
YouTube is there.
YouTube it. YouTube all your issues. Somebody has faced that issue before. There is always going to be a video to help you. But of course, my generation, we don't like that. We like to be spoon-fed. So I will spoon-feed you. Don't worry. So it was great having you here, Uche.
Thank you.
I'm really happy you agreed, because like the time he came into the country for like 7 days, and he's vanishing by tomorrow. So this is probably going to be the best opportunity I'll get to see and talk to him.
But I hope to come back soon because like you said, the portfolio project, because since I'm still trying to enter the market, I sent some messages to some firms that are doing some project, and I offered to do an animation for them free of charge. I'm waiting for the feedback. So so I'm like, just a start. Is like, I think that's how the superimposition really started in Lagos, where I am, which there's a firm in which I did the images, and I offered the client I'll do the animation for them. Though he did not end up paying for it, but that animation led to, once I shared it, led other work. So
wow.
For this one, I guess I'll try the same system, because for now I'm pushing to get all a high rise, and those buildings that are coming up in cantonments, and I'll offer to be for them free, and let's see how it goes. Hopefully I get it done.
Check his Instagram page out at Cleec Designs. I'll put it. I'll put the text there. He does amazing work, especially with the super. Yes, we are all still learning. Everybody always says.
Does anybody want to teach me? I want to come for your classes, please. I'm coming for your classes. I want to learn from you. Thank you. Thank you.
We are all still learning. Don't worry. It's all the journey is long, but we are going through it. So check his link out. I'll put the links also in the description below. Thank you so much for this time. So see you guys later. Bye.